What if they put a couple of guys on the radio who weren't drop shipped in from the nearest media empire? Guys who were born and bred Boston. They know the city where liberty and the idea of America were born. These guys stand, love, and respect those past and present who've dedicated themselves to protecting our freedoms, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice from 1775 to present day so that we can speak freely every day. It's time once again for The Answer with Joe Ligotti and Chris Palermo.
Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai and Shiva, come on up to the microphone here. Oh, please give us the correct pronunciation.
First of all, welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Give us the pronunciation of your last name.
You did a pretty good job.
Okay.
So think about saying I adore you, so you say Ayyadurai.
Oh,
Shiva Ayyadurai.
All right.
Ayyadurai.
So
We're going to be repeating that.
He's a. Let me just tell you something. I thought that, that I had a long Wikipedia page.
We ran out of ink.
No, this gentleman here, you'll be impressed, and I was when I first read it. He's trying to unseat Pocahontas, or whatever you want to call her, Sitting Bull, whatever you call Warren. I try not to mention a name; it gives me agita. But this gentleman is doing his best, and he will tell you the reasons why he wants to do so when we come back. He's, as I said, he claims that he invented email. We will get into that also.
I'm familiar with email. I use it every day, Shiva.
Yeah. And,
we hear more about it.
And
sure will.
So the fun part of this whole show is that they don't usually allow humans near us during 4 and 7. But
You're brave.
Shiva is a brave guy, and he's sitting down with two calorically challenged gentlemen. And
let's get the phones rocking here, too, right?
Tell them the number, and then we'll go and
691-2590, 617-691-2590, and we'll be taking phone calls in just a little bit here, and we're going to cover all the issues. We're certainly going to get to know Shiva quite a bit here, and we're going to talk about where he stands versus Elizabeth Warren and currently some of the other candidates that you'll be going up against. And real quick here.
Starting to fill up.
That's right.
Yep.
You're running as an independent, is that correct?
I'm running as an independent.
Okay, great. We'll get your reasoning behind that.
And when we come back, FM, and we are The Answer with Ligotti and Palermo.
Going to have a lot of answers here
now,
soon.
Again, we have Senate candidate. I would ask him to please help me the first time saying his last name, or it's Shiva.
It's the Italian version, Dr. Ayyadurai.
Dr. Ayyadurai. So between Ligotti, Ayyadurai, and Palermo, we, like Sesame Street, we cover all vowels. We got so many vowels here at the end of our names, forget about it.
It's a law firm.
Yeah, so, again, I will let Chris...
I'll kick it off here.
Yeah, kick it off, and then I'll get into the good questions.
Shiva, we were, it's funny, we were on the float for the St. Patrick's Day parade in South Boston. Now, who would think a couple of large Italian fellows are going on a float here? We saw a big billboard of you. It was striking, and Joe goes, "Whoa, we got to get this guy on." I think it was, and I said, "I've been working on it," and it said, why not, correct me, please, why not get the real Indian rather than the fake Indian?
It's that only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
Thank you.
That's our slogan.
That was kind of a pun, a joke, because technically she claims to be Native American, and you were born in Bombay.
In India, but I also have Native American blood in
do?
me. I have my genetic.
Right?
Yeah, so
Wow. So you got double whammy.
I got
there.
double whammy. So I'm double Indian, but she has nothing.
So I guess you are the real Indian.
I'm the real Indian.
Okay, well, hey.
Real Indian squared.
Wow. So let's do this, because again, I would say that this is a huge endeavor in this blue state that seems to, everyone you talk to on every street corner will say, "Oh, I don't like Elizabeth Warren. I don't like what she's doing. I don't like it." But somehow she wins by 40%. So taking time away from your life and family and everything else, why does this intrigue you, Shiva, to do this?
Well, going back to the slogan, we say only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. There's the deep truth in that is because I'm a real American. And everyone listening out there has essentially the Trump election of 2016 essentially has clearly showed everyone people are tired of the establishment parties. They're tired of career politicians, and they essentially want everyday people participating in governance. Look, remember those memes that came out, Hillary 97%, Trump 3%? The pollsters don't know what's going on. The so-called experts don't know what's going on because these experts try to essentially control the narrative. The reason I'm running is because that's what it's about. You look at the founders of this country. They were architects, inventors, blacksmiths, engineers. They were not career politicians who basically started some local level. And most of these guys have no jobs. They can't fix anything. They can't make anything. They don't create. They essentially move money around and they manipulate. And that's not what this country is about. That's not why I'm sure your parents came, your grandparents came, my parents came. We came here because this country was based on two things, rule of law and meritocracy. And when that starts getting destroyed, you start destroying one of the most powerful things that moves this country forward. And that's why I'm running, because Elizabeth Warren doesn't stand for that. Frankly, neither does any of the establishment parties, the GOP establishment or the Democrat establishment.
So
I'll agree. Amen to that, brother.
let me ask you, though, Shiva. So how on earth did we, the people who pay these salaries and allegedly elect these people, how did we let that happen?
Well, the way we let it happen is because the sewer that feeds the swamp in D.C. comes out of Harvard University, and we've put so much emphasis on these experts. And those experts have essentially taken advantage of everyday people. So look at Massachusetts. The number one, there are three things, and when you really look at the results of Massachusetts, one of the worst public infrastructures, right? One of the most corrupt states, 47th, and it has a 3 times the national opioid average. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
big
brought.
problem.
Yeah, that's brought to you by the Harvard clan of Elizabeth Warren, Mitt Romney, by the way, who made $750 million flipping methadone clinics, and Charlie Baker.
It's liberal policies that breed this behavior, isn't it?
It's a deep state. Let's because when you just say liberal, we also leave out the establishment. It's a deep state of centralization of power. When I say the real Indian, we're talking about everyday people. Look, indigenous people, real Celtic people. If you go look at all historical cultures,
course.
we all believed in small government, local governments that you know what to do, people know what to do. But Elizabeth Warren thinks she knows better. I know you know better. And that was a concept of small local government, not this deep state, centralized government.
Bloated.
Government. And if you look at this deep state.
Like us.
Yeah, but that's we carry bloated good.
Yeah, well, you guys are joyous, though.
Right on.
But if you look at what we have right now, we have the deep state. The chickens have come home to roost because the problems that are being created now, they don't even know how to solve. Mass shootings, right? Opioid addiction, the issue with veterans. They have no idea how to solve this. It's like opening up a phone closet and you see all these wires and you just close it. That's all they know how to do.
I like that.
You see, that's what they've created. The deep state problems
Yeah, right.
are fundamental, massive, complex systems problems that career politicians have no idea how to solve, except doing what seems cool at that time. So,
And
mass
trendy.
shootings come along. Okay, assault weapons, right?
Yeah, right.
Opioid comes along. Let's do methadone, right? These guys have never had to solve problems, and that's not what America's about. And that's why I'm running, because, my entire life has been about solving problems. Immigration, coming from India legally, that's a big problem to solve, right? You got to come in
Yes,
here,
sir.
fill out all the paperwork,
Yep.
going through the process of education,
Pay.
and then innovating. I've started 7 companies, 4 degrees at MIT, all on merit, didn't lie on my application as Elizabeth Warren did. Didn't get in there because my mom or papa were Harvard alumni like Charlie Baker, right? And I'm hitting both of these guys because, see, both of these guys are the problem. But look at what Massachusetts does good in. Number 1 in innovation. That comes from the nerds at MIT and the high-tech blue-collar workers who produce 33,000 businesses, $2 trillion in annual revenue. I don't see anyone who's doing that from the career politicians. We need to give people back to everyday people, and we need to have skills. I don't know if you know this, for every 17 high-tech skill job openings, only 1 person is skilled. So think about what these guys have done.
Yeah.
They have a bloated educational industrial complex, and we don't produce people who have any skills anymore. And you tell me these guys know how to fix anything? It's nonsense.
In fact, the policies, what we're doing here, Shiva, is we stifle that.
We stifle that.
that.
And you have a culture of people. Look at these career politicians. One of the Republican guys is sign salesman. I don't know what this guy, the other guy, we call him Old Man Kingston, moved money around at Harvard. Beth Lindstrom ran the lottery. I don't know what Elizabeth Warren's done as a lawyer lobbyist. Think about a lawyer. Their entire business model is not solving a problem. You ever pay a lawyer? They always want to keep the problem going, right? Engineers.
My last name's Ligotti. We pay the
Exactly.
lawyers. Don't worry about it.
No, but I'm saying, you talked about my friend Frank, electrician, right? Plumbers.
Right. Frank,
if we don't
yeah.
solve the problem, the client doesn't pay us, right? But we still keep paying these guys, and they don't solve any problems. They prolong problems. Look at the infrastructure in this state. Look at the infrastructure in this country.
And my truck is falling apart. I definitely can vouch for
One
that.
thing I'll say is that, when he said you were coming, I really, you didn't blink an eye at it, right? When I read this, I said, boy, this guy, MIT, he's going to be one of those guys. Listen, you are the epitome of the American story, my friend, because, again, a lot of kids that were born here don't take advantage of everything that they could be taking advantage of because, their parents, I'll have to say it, my generation is pretty lazy, you know what I mean? And, but you... how many degrees do you have? You said.
Well, I have 4 degrees,
right?
But
you could sit back and collect money.
I could.
People would pay you, but you want to get down and build from the ground up. I can tell.
Well, there's
look,
some passion in your voice.
Well,
too.
Right.
my teachers were everyday Americans. Look, my chemistry teacher in a public school, Mr. Walker, had 3 jobs. Okay, this is in the 70s.
Cool, you remember him?
Oh yeah, and he won one of the teaching awards by the president. Okay, this guy still works hard. What I'm saying is this country is built on hard work, people suffering, and meritocracy. When I grew up in India, in Bombay, wild city, and then I grew up in a small village, no electricity. My aunt lived in a hut, so I know what suffering is. When you come to this country, people forget how much we have here. We have so much here, and you can complain about problems, but the other most important thing is people need to rise up and take control of their lives and recognize that these politicians do not deserve one vote anymore. We need term limits.
No doubt about
what is this
that.
concept of I'm going to be in office for the rest of my life? My view is you're in any office for maybe 8 years maximum, 2 terms. That's it. You're done. Get back to work.
Well, Shiva, may I stop you there?
Yeah.
I am a true believer and a libertarian here. I believe we already have term limits already because, as you said, the common person who should be making the decision, we the people, every 6 years has a chance to change what our elected body looks like down in Washington. 4 years every year for governor. I truly believe that sometimes somebody might need 12 years or so to do some of the great projects maybe you have in your mind might take a while. So I when everyone says we need term limits, I want to be careful about stifling someone that might actually get on there and do some good. In our lifetime, we've never seen it.
Well, let me tell you sort of what I mean. When I say term limits, I mean across the board, lobbyists, all of them. So one of the important things here is imagine someone told you only have 4 years to get a degree. Well, you're going to finish it, right? If I told you you only have 8 years and that's it, you can never come back, you know what? I'm going to want to leave my legacy. I'm going to bust my butt to do what I want to do. When humans are interesting, right? When you have a limited deadline, you get a lot done. And deadlines are good. And term limits will force this other thing. It'll force what's called succession planning. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to be over in 8 years, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to also groom other people. I'm going to mentor other people because that's how you leave your legacy.
It's going to be a plan.
It's going to be a plan.
First.
So what I'm saying is deadlines are good. Everything else in nature has deadlines. You have a beginning and an
end. I
end.
agree with you. I think people work especially well when they're forced to. No doubt about that. We're talking with Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, and we are here on The Answer, Ligotti in Palermo. And when we come back, I want to open up the phone lines here. We're going to go lightning round with you, too, and I want to throw out some issues and tell me what your reaction, how you would resolve them here. 617-691-2590. This is a great opportunity. We had a real sense of urgency. I wanted to get, I contacted Frank Licata because I read that Elizabeth Warren is promising that if she is reelected, She will not leave. She will finish out her entire 6 years.
That's because of our DNA test. We forced her to stop the presidential race. We take full credit for her dropping out.
So Joe and I we had Jeff Deal in, and we plan on having Beth Lindstrom in, and we want to give equal time here. And we definitely want to open up the phone lines here, 617-691-2590. We're back in just a bit.
Let's dance. I want to see how he dances. Okay, this goes out to my daughter Francesca every night, and I love you, and Dad's proud of you. This is WROL 950 AM, 100.3 FM. Sing it, Tammy. That's right. This is The Answer with Ligotti and Palermo, and I hope you have someone in your life like that, and they will climb any mountain. And as I say, hug somebody you love tonight, because you never know. All right, sitting here, and again, I am so awful with names. That's why I could never be a politician. But I don't consider him a politician after hearing him speak for a few minutes. I'm just going to call him Shiva. How's that?
Shiva's great. Yeah.
All right. And he is running as an independent. All right. When I hear that, I'm not making fun of you, but we're very funny here sometimes.
That's good.
When I say independent, I think of Herbie from Red-Nosed Reindeer there. Remember the little guy?
I do, yeah.
I want to be a dentist. All right.
Yeah.
See, you didn't think I would go there, did you? And he's trying to unseat. I won't even mention the person to be named later.
The fake Indian.
Well, whoever you want to say. And he's trying to beat the establishment. He does have an uphill battle. And Chris is going to start a lightning round. I don't know what that is, but it sounds fun. So maybe we can get the match game music. I don't know.
Let's say, Shiva, that you were up on Capitol Hill, you were elected, and let's go, international. Some of these things you would want to put a bug in Trump's ear and talk about right off the bat. How would you handle Syria?
No war. We shouldn't even be going into Syria. We have no understanding of what's exactly going on there. When you have people like Lindsey Graham and John McCain and Howard Dean all saying that we should be going into Syria, it's ridiculous. There's no reason for it. We have enough stuff to take care of in this country. Remember WMDs? We went into Iraq, that fiasco. So the deep state wants us to get us into war, and what they're about is essentially, the Trump win was a disruption. Whether you like Trump or not, let's put that aside, but he was essentially a necessary disruption. And the people who voted for him were anti-establishment. And the establishment forces essentially want to derail this. I mean, you're going and invading his lawyer's office? Come on. You're going and you have a guy like Facebook guy. I mean, that hearing was ridiculous. I don't know if you guys heard it. It was nonsense.
We've been covering
We've been having to cover
it's
it.
Funny. It sounds like he could have been the third co-host in here.
Stop. I told you.
I thought I came here for the interview.
Well, I need Friday off. It's going to be nice. You want to come in? Anyway.
I want to ask you, let's say you were elected. What would your relationship be with Marty Walsh and Charlie Baker?
Well, look, Marty Walsh and Baker are essentially in collusion with Warren, okay? Look at the free speech rally. We went to that free speech rally, and the way that Walsh and Baker handled that was completely atrocious.
It was embarrassing, wasn't it?
Yeah, here, I was asked to go to that free speech rally
nearly 2 months. It was childish. We're not going to have this rally.
Well, then why did they do that? Because these guys have never really taken care of poor whites and poor blacks in this state, and they kowtowed to them after Charlottesville. Suddenly, both of these guys are the big fighters for black people in the state. And what they did was they incited a riot. They actually could have gotten us and the police killed.
Did you see that? That was incredible.
It was 40 of us against 40,000 people. And they did not allow the media to hear my talk. I exposed Hillary Clinton as a racist. I talked about Joe Biden and what he said about Obama. I talked about Harry Reid. We said black lives do matter. We have signs. We actually had signs that said no to Monsanto. Right? We gave a very good talk. So Charlie Baker and Marty Walsh, shame on you. You guys basically are the politicians who frankly don't do a lot. The average net worth of a black person in Boston is $8. Why don't you go solve that before you start talking about how much you care about, black people? So I find
agree,
both of these guys atrocious. And by the way, Baker was taking selfies with Warren at the St. Patrick's Day party, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the opposition to Warren.
He didn't take a picture with me, and I was a little upset because I had a Scully hat and everything. I looked Irish, but I had the sunglasses and the cigar going.
One more quick one here, and I'll throw back to Joe.
Yep.
So
We're
tell
gonna have a
me
little fun, no?
your opinion of Trump and where you stand with him. I mean, of course, and I'm a big Trump fan, and I'm going to put my Trump hat on when we take a photo here. No, you're not a never Trumper. Tell me, where do you differ with him, if you do, and you're mostly on board with Donald Trump?
Well, look, I'm an engineering systems guy, right? So I study systems. Trump's victory was a necessary disruption. So I believe that Trump winning was a heroic thing, and he's already, in my view, done his historic duty. Whether he gets one bill passed, it doesn't matter. You see, when you look at systems in history, systems go through what are called transition states. So we're at a very historic point in American history because he used that platform to destroy the Republican establishment, the Democrat establishment, and the media.
He really
right?
did. Right.
And now what you have in Massachusetts is among the Republicans, you have the never Trumpers and you have the fake Trumpers. You know, one of the Trump guys you mentioned earlier faked a Photoshop picture. This guy, Dirty Deal, we call him.
Well, I asked him I asked Jeff point blank. I said, Jeff,
and Saudi Robichaud.
I said, Jeff, are you a never Trumper? And he laughed and he said he is not.
He's a fake Trumper. They're even more dangerous. See, in his history, you have the establishment. You have something even more insidious, the not so obvious establishment. That's where Jeff Deal falls in. And then you have people like John Kingston, who's an ever-Trumper, and then you have someone like Beth Lindstrom who tries to go either way. These guys are opportunists, okay? They shouldn't even be running. They have no, in my view, they've disregarded the public. You know, you got Kingston who comes out of Harvard Law School. He comes from that whole sewer process. Lindstrom's been an insider for 35 years. And, you know, what has Deal actually done? We've raised taxes in Massachusetts. By the way, lowering the gas tax, you should really rethink that, okay? Look at the infrastructure in the state.
Why is that?
Well, you know, I believe in fair taxes, okay? Harvard University should be taxed. It's a $40 billion hedge fund, right? We need to lower income taxes. We've raised income taxes and we've lowered the gas tax. Trump actually wants to increase the gas tax. Consumption tax, you have to look at, is not such a bad thing because look at the infrastructure in it. So
it's the people that use it.
Exactly.
Right.
When you use it, the other thing
Right,
is,
right.
So I think the biggest issue here is innovation is what drives the economy. And Trump understands this. Here's a guy who's had to build buildings. Okay, I build software. You know, I've built 7 companies. Anytime you have to build stuff, bring people together, those people solve problems. None of these 3 people, including Warren, have ever had to bring people together to create a product, a service, meet a customer. So what are these guys doing even running for office, saying they understand innovation, they understand business, they understand zero? So it's really, really
what
unfortunate.
He said.
No, I before we run, I only got about 3 minutes
You
here.
know what?
I want to give it.
Can you stay?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Well,
Okay,
then
we'll
let's
take it up.
because I mean we're going to have. We're going to talk about the issues, but then again, people might not know Shiva. So what we might do is put him through the regular guy lightning round.
Okay, we'll go
And
regular
we
guy.
will let him tell. We'll ask the questions, and then people can know what he likes, what he doesn't like, and what he is as a regular person.
I have a sense there, Shiva, there's going to be some food questions.
Yeah, listen,
so
but
on.
he might not be fat enough to hang with us.
All right, I don't
But
know.
I love Italian
anyway,
food.
See, now you're cheating now.
Don't. I'll give him the question we asked all the guests.
That was
so
one
we
of my
won't say it.
questions. Now,
Pizza.
thank you. We'll get to that. Don't worry, because there's a little. There's a little. What do you
Man,
call it?
it's almost 6:45. I'm starving here.
Yeah.
So come on.
I applaud what you're saying. It sounds very good when it comes out. But again, I hope and pray that the same people that are keeping quiet, that kept quiet 2 years ago, because none of us could say we were going to vote for Trump, or we would have had rocks thrown up through our window, our lawn signs ripped out. I mean, my next door neighbor, he's a little nuts, but he's an old bikey guy, and they kept putting signs up. The kids kept taking them down until the day. Remember I told you? He sat there. I mean, he's licensed to. He sat there with his shotgun and watched people come at 3 a.m. We saw blue lights. I mean, I live in the suburb.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping the same people that kept their mouth shut, because Chris and I it was like Super Bowl Sunday to us.
2:00 in the morning.
We were
We're
texting,
texting.
"Are
We
you
said, "Is this
kidding
going
me?"
to really happen?" You know,
I'm
we were
hoping
excited.
that, hey, if people really want change, like you said, the establishment. Who's been around 35 years? Who's been around 10 years? Who has worked for somebody that's been around?
Who was a Democrat and now is a Trumper? Is that possible, voting for Joe Biden and having a campaign manager who was paid as a lobbyist by the Saudis?
Well,
Come on, this stuff. These
lobbyists,
people.
that's a weird thing to me.
Yeah, and manipulating veterans. What I'm talking about is these people do not care about this country. They care about themselves. They see an election as an opportunity to make money. They don't see it as an opportunity to serve people. And, I think we have a huge opportunity. I'm the only one who wants to defeat Elizabeth Warren. We figured out how to defeat her. I don't go into stuff to lose. You're looking at a guy who made $250 million starting one company. I'm running a multi-billion-dollar company right now, so I don't need to do this.
Can I borrow 20? I want to go for a hamburger
Sure.
across the street.
Yeah.
I'll
make you
not
some.
going to ask.
I'll make you some meatballs.
No.
I'm good at it.
All right, we'll see. I'm going to ask you your recipe later. Hey, we're talking with, again, could you say the last name?
Yeah.
Ayyadurai.
It's Ayyadurai.
Ayyadurai.
The Italian version.
All right,
Ayyadurai.
Shiva Ayyadurai, who is running as an independent against Elizabeth Warren and a bunch of other people. We're going to keep him around a little more because we didn't get to the regular guy stuff, and so you could really know what the guy's like and what makes him tick. Hey, this is Shaka. This is the way we play on The Answer with Ligotti and Palermo.
Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
Hey. All right. We are here with
Try it, Joe. Try it.
Ayyadurai.
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 Hey.
Okay.
Like Ayyadurai.
Oh.
Ayyadurai.
All right. So we're here with the
Over here.
Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, who is running as an independent. And believe me, if you've been listening, he reminds me a little of myself if I had money and I could fight these people. But he's gone after everybody. But we have a story, and then I promise you, we're going to show you that this guy is just not a stiff shirt, all right?
It's got a nice suit on, though. It's a very nice suit you're wearing today.
Well, I
just
wouldn't
got
fit
it. I just bought it.
You just bought it?
Yeah.
Just for us, right?
Yeah, for you
This was-
guys. I was told I had to get dressed up.
Oh,
I don't know what happened to the TV cameras.
We
We're
don't
waiting
even
for
have
the
necks. How are we going to put a tie on?
You were telling us during the break here now,
Yeah.
and open up the phone calls here. We do have almost 10 minutes left. 617-691-2590.
Leave me some time.
I'll get you some time here. I know. You got two big guys here. All we do is talk. This is what we do. Thank you again for coming in here and battling the traffic. Speaking of traffic, again, when Joe and I were in the parade here, we were on the float, and believe it or not, the float did move, and we saw your sign. And so there's a little bit of controversy brewing in Cambridge. You are violating city codes? Tell us, lay before
we're
us.
not violating any code. So, I have a building in Cambridge, which I've owned for 20 years, pay about $70,000 in property taxes annually. It's a lot of money. And we had a bunch of citizens and students in Cambridge take an old school bus, refurbish it, and we've been parking it there since February of last year for nearly 14 months. It used to say Shiva for Senate, fight for America. On St. Patrick's Day, we changed the banner on the bus. It's on the bus, which says, only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian, Shiva for Senate. And it's got
And this is in Cambridge.
It's in Cambridge. They got a picture of me and a picture of Elizabeth Warren in her headdress, right? Well, 50,000 people see it. So about on April 5th,
You get a lot of showings.
Yeah, April 5th, we get a letter from the city of Cambridge saying you have to remove this right away, or we're going to start levying a fine of $300 per day, plus legal action will be taken against you.
Have you removed it?
On what grounds?
Have
though?
you
What-
removed it?
No, we're going to get
Right.
another bus and probably get 4 more buses. That's our reaction. And we've
Love
actually,
it.
and anyone who's listening can get the real Indian, fake Indian magnetic sign. So we're going to escalate. Look, it's my building. There are building codes, and this isn't even on
I'll
the
agree.
building.
I'll agree
This
with
is
you.
on. And look, and it's clearly Elizabeth Warren has called them because they're trying to adjudicate free speech.
No
right?
doubt. I think the real issue here is, Joe.
The real issue is the real Indian can beat the fake Indian.
I think the real issue, Shiva, is you are taking up the precious bike lane, coveted bike lanes that are in there. I think they're
I didn't
afraid
think-
that these bikers in their tight little pants are going to go and smash right into your bus because
Yeah.
it's on a
No, you know what's interesting is this Saturday a guy's walking by with a Harvard hat on, and looks like an intellectual guy, and he says, "Can I take a picture?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "Oh, I teach at Harvard." I go, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm the head of the psychology department at Harvard." He goes, "That's a great advertising campaign." Okay,
See that?
so that's what it is. It's a great campaign. People,
And I'll agree with you, but and again, if they believe in free speech,
Which
you
they
own,
don't.
You own the building. You pay your taxes. You've owned the building a long time. All of a sudden, you put something up there. There's no swearing on it. There's no foul language. It's just what the truth.
and
I
it's
guess.
on the bus. It's
And
not
it's
on the
bu-
building.
Correct. So how
Which is
how can they do that? So I don't know. All right. So now you know Ayyadurai, right?
Ayyadurai.
All right. You mentioned Italian food your favorite, correct?
Yeah, pizza. I could eat a
Okay,
lot
here
of
we
pizza.
go. Is it Regina's or Santapio's?
Regina's.
All right, I like this guy.
Okay, -1. All right. Is it rap music or funk and R&B?
Funk and R&B.
Right on, brother. All right, and let me ask this question: out of your decades, because it's again, you probably are a year older than me. You were born in '64.
63. I'm 54. Yeah.
Well, all right. So I
Yeah.
was 65.
Yeah.
The over/under was 2.5.
1 year.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're the same thing. Best decade.
Definitely.
No, which
Oh,
is the best decade?
70s.
I like that.
70s. Definitely.
You didn't have one of those high heel shoes with the goldfish, did you?
No, but I did have bell bottoms at one time.
I did too.
Yeah.
They actually had Huskies for kids at that time.
Wow.
All right. And
No, 70s were an
right.
awesome decade.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to go out on a limb here now. Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, or Patriots?
Patriots.
Right. I like
Yeah.
him.
He wins.
Yeah.
I like him. Favorite player in the Patriots?
Obviously Brady.
No. I have the man crush on Brady.
Yeah.
I said it on national TV. That's it. He can't have him. All right.
And
so
now one final
What?
food
Go
question. You got another one? I want to give. Is
food
it?
question? Yeah, go.
Is now you like Italian food and you fashion yourself? You as an Italian fan.
Ooh, I like this question.
Is it sauce or is it gravy, Shiva?
Ooh, it's a good one. It's gravy.
See?
This man, either he's prepared, knows all the right things to say.
I
or-
grew up in New Jersey, man, with Italians. I grew up with, I
That's
grew up
right.
in Newark and Patterson and Clifton.
Right,
you know.
right. I hear you.
My next door neighbor was, he was an interesting guy. I mean, his wife would get up in the morning at 6 in the morning, make Italian sauce
Make the-
or
yeah.
gravy the old way, right?
Right, with
Very
the meat.
slow, with meat, slow cooked,
cholesterol,
everything.
oil, and right.
Yeah.
What we need to get out is some,
Wait a minute, one more.
Okay. all right.
Your meatball recipe in 30 seconds.
Okay, you take first of all, good meat. You mix pork. You got to
Wow,
put.
this kid knows what he's talking
Okay,
about.
got to add. I add onions, right? I actually add a little bit of chili pepper into it. all right.
Oh, see, that's the Indian in
And
you.
yeah, that's the Indian. in
No
me.
offense,
That's
but
That
the,
doesn't sound bad,
the
Shiva.
real Indian.
All right.
The real Indian.
Well, I don't know.
A
Whatever.
little bit of cumin. Okay.
Yeah, see,
Whoa,
again,
here we
now
go.
that's,
And,
Now, to me, that sounds good.
Garlic, put it all together.
All
That's
right.
that's my and obviously
That
put some
sounds
breadcrumbs
good.
in
Now,
there.
do you fry him first?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
saute.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
So-
we will have to have him back for a meatball off.
We
I'll
should do
bring-
a cooking show.
What?
we
That's
could.
Chef Fucci.
Real Indian cooking, real Italian
Well,
cooking show.
no, the curry stuff, I like it. I like it hot.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I'm not like nuts like you have to sign a waiver. But anyway,
And
there is 1 minute to go. Let
Yeah.
people know how they can contact
yeah, let's get
you.
the essentials, the website.
Right.
And
so,
then we'll say
so
goodbye
give,
and meet you.
Go to shivaforsenate.com and give us lots of money. SHIVA for Senate.com. If you can't give money, volunteer. Volunteer for us. We are the funnest campaign to work with. All of our campaign
To
people
hang
have
out on
a
a
ton
bus.
of fun.
Yeah.
We get to ride on the bus, and in fact, we're going to be getting, like I said, 5 more buses. So we're looking for bus drivers
He is
too.
great.
Tell
Oh,
us-
I could drive the bus.
Yeah.
Tell us about the event coming up
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, so Monday is Patriots Day.
Sure, right.
So we're going to be doing another rally in Concord. In fact, the headmaster of the Concord Academy is so afraid of us, he's called us Nazis again and misogynists, etc., but we're going to be going there. I surely don't look like a Nazi. I don't think I do.
No, you
But,
certainly don't.
Pretty
but
tough
yes,
to call
but,
you
but-
racist.
yeah, but we're going to really talk
Uh-huh.
about the foundations of this country. Patriots Day is a great day,
Yep.
and I think
Shot heard
America's
around the world.
America's ready for another good revolution. That's my view.
What
I'm
about
in.
Twitter handles and Facebook?
Twitter handles VA_Shiva, at VA_Shiva. And if you go to Shiva Ayyadurai, VA Shiva Ayyadurai on Facebook, that's where you can find me. But it's Shiva #4 Senate.com.
Wow.
Volunteers is more important than money. So volunteer, help
That
us
I'll
out.
agree with.
Yeah.
Been in a lot of campaigns.
Yeah.
Folks like Michelle here, they were indispensable.
Yep.
And that's true. If people really want to meet you, you surprised the heck out of me. I mean, I
Well-
was really thinking that you were going to be a stiff shirt. Regina's.
No, I
we'll
played
talk-
baseball. I wanted to be, I could have been a pro baseball player.
Really?
Definitely.
Well, look at me.
We
I
didn't
can
even
still
talk.
throw.
I was a
you-
bodybuilder, but
and
then
you-
everything relaxed.
You invented email.
I
In
invented
30
the first
seconds.
email system.
Yep.
Remember the old-fashioned inbox, outbox? I called that, put it together, 50,000 lines of code, called it email, have the first U.S. copyright. I'm in the Smithsonian, and it was done in Newark, New Jersey, not by the deep state, not by the military complex. It was done by an American kid in Newark. That's
All
the
right.
American way.
We're going to have this discussion off the air. Maybe put it on Facebook Live about Regina's versus Tops. I think we got a problem here, Houston. We're coming back tomorrow. We love you. Hug someone
You
you,
can change
love.
my mind.
Life's too short. This is Ligotti and Palermo.
Yes.